India is dangerously close to becoming the stampede capital of the world. That well over 100 people are dead in a crush in Hathras is not the first time such a tragedy has occurred. And as unfortunate as it may sound, it won't be the last time. It won't be the last time if the police and local administrations continue to bend the rules when political influence and religious activities are in the mix. The stampede happened at a satsang, or a religious congregation, in the UP district. In fact, just a short while back, the preacher, who is still on the run by the way, has blamed anti-social elements for the tragedy. This attempt by Narayan Hari to deflect blame is outrageous. It was in his name that hundreds of thousands of people gathered at the event. And this makes it not just his moral responsibility, but his direct legal responsibility as well. Bear with me as I ask a few of the many questions that come to mind after the tragedy. Who thought it was a good idea for lakhs of people to gather in a place where there was no proper space or navigable and well-laid paths? Permission was given for 80,000 people, but 250,000 people turned up. That's correct, 250,000 people. That's 250,000. Was it not for the authorities to keep a check on the gathering? On paper, there are many prerequisites for such a permission to be granted. CCTV cameras, private security guards, sufficient entry and exit points with no obstruction, fire safety, health safety, and so on. Were these conditions met before the permission was given? The police have to visit the spot and check if everything is in order. Did they visit the spot? And if they did they really think that everything was good to go? At such events, once the police realize the crowd is swelling, they have to issue an immediate notice to the organizers to warn them. They must immediately cancel the permit if the organizers don't act promptly. And there's no point even asking this question because we all know that didn't happen. And dozens of valuable lives were lost. The answer to most of the questions is in the negative, by the way. ThePrint journalists Hina Fatima, Shubhangi Mishra, and Manisha Mondal are on the ground, and they're bringing you all the important updates on this tragic story. And multiple residents have told them that at least one other incident at a smaller scale happened at the same preacher's congregation in the past. Why then did such a big event happen without any watch and with such brazenness? The FIR over the incident says the conditions set while granting the permission were not followed. It is the police's job to ensure that the event is monitored for violations in real time. Finding heads to pin the blame on after the tragedy has struck doesn't really cut it. The permission for this event should have never been granted in the first place. Of course, the onus rests with the organizers to make sure that such events are held safely. But can the authorities really wash their hands off the responsibility? Of course not. One look at the pictures is enough to stun you. Dozens of bodies just lying lifeless on the ground. They aren't just adding to the death toll in official records, by the way. They are a grim snapshot of the many stories that have been abruptly cut short just because someone didn't care enough about life-saving rules and guidelines.